Yes. So let me start with the first question, which is numbered here as question 2, but actually the first question in the sheet. Okay. So the customer, this question is about toolkit, and this question is all about what is this question. First of all, try to understand the gist of this question. This question is all about the formation of the function. This is not about to solve the function, this is about forming the function. Now, forming the function is y equal to a plus bx, which I have already discussed with you. So actually this question is all about knowing the unknown a and b. ये question क्या था? This question is not to solve anything, not to find out the answer of anything, like what we have done in break-even analysis, find out the quantity and all. This question is about forming the function, that is y equal to a plus bx. This is what you have to do it. So yes, anybody out of you who have tried this question?
Yes, sir. I tried
Sir,
it.
I tried to understand it, but it
Hmm.
wasn't possible for me to grasp it.
No problem, no problem. That's a very honest confession. Let me start with this question. Is the question there in front of you?
No, sir.
No,
No, sir.
Not
sir.
yet.
Oh, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Why? You can open up the file.
Yes, sir. Like we have it on our
Okay.
with ourselves. Yes, sir.
Acha, you are attending
So
from.
we were expecting that you were going to show us these questions on the screen.
अच्छा, ठीक है, ठीक है. Yeah, that I will do it. That I will do it. I hope you are not expecting that I am also showing the solution of the questions.
No, sir.
Not yet.
Not
No,
at
no,
all.
sir. We
Not at
thought
all,
that
sir.
we
No,
will
sir.
be sharing the screen. We will be
आपने
sharing
सोचा
the
होगा
screen of the
सोचा
question.
होगा ये क्वेश्चन तो इन्होंने दे दिए, लाइए सॉल्यूशन भी दे देंगे, अपना काम आसान रहेगा है. ठीक
Not at all, sir.
है, कोई बात. Okay, I'm opening my window and then I think sheet. Is the sheet visible to all of you now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See the first question.
Yes, sir.
Look, see the first question, which is there in the sheet, and I would start writing it down with the help of because this is the first time you look into this, so I'm solving it consequently. Now, the first question is a customer will buy 50 toolkits per month. So 50 toolkits per month. Right? This is what toolkits per month, right? If the unit price is rupees 300, that is one toolkit cost how much? Rupees 300.
300.
If this is
It's
rupees
300.
300, 300 per kit. And 30 per unit, that is from 50, they can decrease it to 30. 30 toolkits, they will purchase not 50, 30 toolkits. If the price is rupee, how much?
400.
400.
The price is rupee 400
400.
per kit. तो अगर ये काफी ऑब्वियस क्वेश्चन है, अगर प्राइस कम होगा तो हम ज्यादा खरीदेंगे, अगर प्राइस ज्यादा होगा तो हम कम खरीदेंगे. सो आई विल परचेज 50 टूल किट्स इफ per unit cost of a kit is 300, but if the seller increase from 300 to 400, I will drop the number of units purchased. So primarily, if I talk about this thing, this is a relationship between two variables: number of toolkits, so I will keep this as x, and the per unit, that is price, p. So this is the relationship. This is the information is about this. 30 per unit if the unit price. On the other hand, manufacturing to supply. So this is one side. We have x and p. This information is from the customer point of view. So what is this customer point of view? You know, this is about the demand. This is the demand. अच्छा, आप लोगों को थोड़ा ये कंफ्यूजन रहा होगा क्योंकि मैंने अब तक आपको डिमांड सप्लाई के कंटेक्स्ट में कोई डिस्कशन नहीं किया था. So
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
yeah, I understand that, but this question is considered to be a very relevant question to discuss this concept also. ठीक है, कोई इशू नहीं है. So we have introduced a new concept now, demand. which is not new in the sense because you have already studied this concept in your paper of economics, and Wali Saab, I hope, is giving
Yes,
you
sir.
in-depth analysis of demand. So this is demand. मैं 50 टूल किट खरीदूंगा अगर 300 पर है, मैं 30 टूल्स खरीदूंगा अगर 400 पर है. This is the demand. So this demand, which is a function of economics, can also be presented in the form of mathematical expression. That is, what the point is that what I can do, I can write down this as demand function. This demand function. So demand function, I can put it here, where we have the this one demand function. So we need to form the demand function. Function, as you know, the moment we say function, we have this relationship with us, y equal to a plus b x. So we have y and x here. The only point of discussion here is, in case of demand function, is that which variable, that is quantity or the price, shall I take it as dependent variable and which I would take it as independent. So आप बताइए.
Quantity should be taken as dependent variable and price
Price
should
should
be
be
taken as
independent.
independent variable.
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक है, एक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ये भी है. The point of view is that quantity is taken as the dependent variable and price is taken as this. So ये आपका, आप कह रहे हैं quantity Q equal to A plus B and B. This is the function that the students are suggesting for us. ये function आप लोग कह रहे हैं. Is this what mathematical expression you are expecting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, कोई और पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू भी है इसमें क्या? अगर मैं कहूँ कि नहीं, मैं इसको अदर वे अराउंड लेना चाहता हूँ, आई कैन टेक
सर,
Price
इसमें प्राइस जो है वो टूल
dependent.
किट जो है वो प्राइस डिपेंडेंट रहेगा और टूल किट इंडिपेंडेंट रहेगी सर, बिकॉज प्राइस के बेसिस पे ही जो कस्टमर है वो टूल किट को खरीदेगा. तो आई थिंक प्राइस शुड बी डिपेंडेंट एंड टूल किट शुड बी इंडिपेंडेंट. Is it right, sir?
Price will be independent because on the basis of the price, the number of toolkits is changing. अगर हम price की value change करेंगे, तो the number of toolkits will automatically change.
Price depends on quantity.
Quantity depends on price. Quantity depends on price.
लेकिन अगर क्वांटिटी बढ़ाएंगे तो प्राइस घट जाएगा अपने आप. तो
नहीं, प्राइस अगर बढ़ेगा, प्राइस अगर बढ़ेगा ना तो क्वांटिटी कम हो जाएगी.
अरे जैसे वही ना, जैसे इकोनॉमिक्स में पढ़ा था ना, जब प्राइस ऊपर होता है तो डिमांड कम हो जाती है, तो दैट्स व्हाई वो वाला.
Yes.
Inflation for
Okay, shall I now enter into your discussion now?
sure, sir.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
इस वक्त हर कोई अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू रख रहा है, कोई कुछ रख रहा है, कोई नौ रख रहा है. ठीक है, चलिए, अच्छी बात है. Now, so finally, what do you say? Yes, I'm sorry, I joined in between that discussion. So,
Well,
what is your point of view? Is this the right way? Q is dependent variable and price is the independent variable?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I said, I guess per my analysis, price is it is a dependent factor and toolkit is an independent factor, because on the basis of price only we will go for toolkit.
Exactly. Now here I'm telling you one more thing. There is another definition of independent variable and dependent variable which I explained you. Independent is that which is in our control. Always remember that this function we are looking from the perspective of the customer demand. What is in my control? Suppose I plan to buy 50, but I can change it to 30. I can change it to 25 also. I can change it to 15 also. So this is in my hand. I can vary the quantity purchase, right? However, because the price is not set by me, it is set by the seller. So what I can is that price is basically the dependent variable. So there is another point of view. Price can this one, and we can have A plus B and the quantity Q. This would be another function. And generally speaking, in economics terminology, either you see demand and supply, they both are represented in this form. That is, price is considered to be the dependent variable on the quantity Q. मार्केट में ये माना जाता है कि जैसे जैसे क्वांटिटी the demand and the supply increases or the decreases, it has an impact on the price, or vice versa also. So the point here is that there is nothing right and wrong. If you take quantity as dependent and you take this as independent, that is also correct. If you take price as dependent and this is also correct. But the form which I am representing right now, where the price is a dependent variable and the quantity is independent variable, is a very conventional form of demand function. And you see in most of the literature of economics, you will find the same function, जहाँ पे price dependent variable होगा और quantity जो है वो independent variable होगी. So in other word, अगर मैं इसको लिखूंगा, so I would consider this as an x. So now I can form two equations from this.
So just a query, sir. So like suppose as I said that price will be dependent. So sir, in near future, if we go for the demand forecasting, like demand and supply function, if there remains a possibility of inflation, then the chances that the price may increase. So in that case, the customer will go for the less case. So that was also the reason why I said toolkit should be an independent factor.
Right, you are right. Absolutely right, Pratika. Kritika has a very good understanding of the point. She looked into the problem from different angle. That's a best point. So you are right. But Kritika, because I don't want to move this discussion into a very advanced stage, reason is that there are some students who are listening this concept of demand and supply maybe for the first time. तो अभी हम उस एडवांस लेवल पे उस डिस्कशन को नहीं लाना चाह रहे हैं. अभी आगे आएगा वो एडवांस डिस्कशन. अभी सिर्फ मैं आपको इतना बता रहा हूँ. I am just restricting myself to only one simple judgment. I am taking quantity as independent because this is in my control. I can change, whereas price I cannot change. So price is dependent on the quantity which I am referring right now. अच्छा, एक बात और मुझे आपसे वो कहनी थी कि मैं देख रहा हूँ बार बार लोग बीच में ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं. मेरी रिक्वेस्ट ये थी कि जब क्लास शेड्यूल है 12:05 पे और 12:10 मैंने पहले ही टाइम अनाउंस कर दिया, तो ठीक है 5 मिनट और कर लिया, 12:15 हो गया, 12:20 तक हो गया. चलिए, एक एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी सिचुएशन है, किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है, लेकिन हाफ एन आवर 35 मिनट्स बाद अगर आप कंटिन्यूसली ज्वाइन करेंगे तो फिर थोड़ा सा वो रहता है. कोशिश करिए. मेरा मतलब ये है कि मैं मानता हूँ कि ये एक एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी सिचुएशन चल रही है सब लोगों के लिए, मेरे लिए भी और आपके लिए भी. तो कोशिश करें कि टाइम लिमिट को स्टिक करें और कोशिश करें कि 10, 15, 20 मिनट्स के विद इन सेशन को ज्वाइन कर लें. फिर उससे ये होगा कि जो इंपॉर्टेंट डिस्कशन होता है वो खत्म हो चुका होता है. You joined in between and you will not get the right spirit of the discussion. ठीक है. So this is what we have. 330. I put the value. Is this visible to all of you? जो first equation मैं बना रहा हूँ.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This one. This is the first equation 1, and the second equation I would form it here. What do I put? P equal to how much? P. Yes. 400.
400 is equal to A plus
30B.
B dot
plus 30
divided by 30.
So this is another equation which I am forming right now. ये equation दूसरी मैंने बना दिया आपको. ये दूसरी equation आ गई आपके पास. Now you have two equations. This is equation number 2. Now what we need to do, हमें क्या पता करना है, हमें ये पता करना, हमें ये डिटरमिन करना है. We have to know this P equal to A plus BX. इसमें unknown क्या है हमारे पास? We have only two unknown. A, this is unknown. A is unknown. Yes, A is unknown. And B is unknown. B is unknown. Now you have two equations, equation number 1 and equation number 2. You can solve these two equations and you can determine the value of A and B. तो क्या आप में से कोई इन दो इक्वेशंस को सॉल्व कर सकता है and can give me the value of A
B
and B,
equal to 5.
Yes, sir.
Do it. I give you time. And one more thing, anybody out of you who feels some confusion, any query from your side, feel free to discuss. This is the first time you are seeing this type of solution. Feel free to discuss if anything is not clear. ये इक्वेशन 1 मैंने कैसे बनाई है, इक्वेशन 2 मैंने कैसे बनाई है, वैल्यूज मैंने कैसे रखी हैं, और अब मैं क्या चाह रहा हूं आपसे, क्या चीज कैलकुलेट करनी है. जी बताइए.
So you have assumed in case of demand function as well as yesterday price function that there exists a linear function and not any other relation between them. So that is why you have used this equation y is equals to mx plus c. But other relation might also exist. How are we so sure that only?
You raised a very valid point. I'm very happy with this type of question.
Thank you, sir.
She raised a very particular and pertinent question at this point of time. She said that why do we assume always that this is a linear function, right? Here, why I take P equal to A plus Bx, the reason is that in the question it is given demand and supply as linear. So to avoid this confusion, the examiner, the requirement is already mentioned here that assume demand and function is linear. So why I took this B equal to A plus Bx, because it is given in the question itself. Now the
Yes,
technical
sir.
answer, technical
Yeah.
answer of your question, you are absolutely
Okay.
right. Demand and function can be linear and it cannot and can be non-linear also. Now, the nature of the relationship between demand and supply, the nature of the relationship between price and the quantity is actually dependent on the commodity or the product specific. Are you clear about this point? You have learned this concept. You are learning this concept in your paper of economics, that the curve, demand curve and the supply curve, sometimes they are linear and sometimes they are non-linear curve.
Yes,
So
sir.
it all depend upon several factors, but one of the most important factors that they under consideration is the nature of the product, what type of product they have. I hope with the coming classes in economics, the sir will told you about the different categories of products and their behavior in terms of demand and supply. हमने यहाँ demand and supply linear इसलिए लिया है क्योंकि in case if we consider it non-linear, then it is difficult for us manually to solve it non-linear functions. Quadratic तक तो हम
Yes,
solve
sir.
कर लेंगे, but it is quadratic ना होके third degree हो या fourth degree हो या उससे ऊपर above होगी, then we have to move to computer programs.
Yes,
But
sir.
that is the point that you have to understand, that it is not always necessary that the relationship is linear. But to avoid this confusion, in the question itself, the examiner has mentioned because they want you to solve the question manually, demand and supply. अगर ये
Yes,
सेम
sir.
क्वेश्चन हम आपको एक्सेल पे कराएं, स्प्रेडशीट मॉडलिंग में क्लास होगी आपकी, तो अगर हम ये क्वेश्चन आपसे एक्सेल पे कराएंगे तो हम उसमें मेंशन कर देंगे कि यू कैन चूज नॉन लीनियर फंक्शन एंड देन एस्टैब्लिश द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन p and x, that is find the value of n a and b by using non-linear function.
Yes, sir.
I hope the point is clear to you.
Sir, and in case of price that we studied yesterday, what about that? That was also a linear case. In this question, it was mentioned, but in the case of price, we took the linear function as well.
I'm talking about in terms of price and quantity itself. This linear and non-linear discussion is with context to price and quantity relationship.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
अच्छा, ये डिस्कशन ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट डिस्कशन है. हम लोग ये अज्यूम करते हैं कि लीनियर है और हम डायरेक्ट लीनियर रिग्रेशन या लीनियर रिलेशनशिप लगा देते हैं. लेकिन हर बार रिलेशनशिप लीनियर नहीं होते. तो there are certain statistical tools, there are certain statistical tests which can establish whether this relationship is linear and non. So at time in the real situation, the managers are confused about the nature of the relationship. So there are certain tests which you will study in coming classes, which can help you to determine is this relationship linear or non-linear. And even if this is a non-linear, what degree of relationship it is. Is it a quadratic or is it a higher degree of relationship? लेकिन अभी हम we restrict our discussion to lower level only linear relationship, ताकि हम manually solve कर सकें और हम ये समझ सकें कि manual solve करके a and b is what we are getting and then we put it in the function and we finalize the function. तो आप बताइए मुझे कि a और b की वैल्यू कितनी आ रही है? What value of a and b
So
you are getting?
A 550, B minus 5.
A minus 5.
a आ रही है minus
550.
ठीक है.
No, sir, 550.
550.
A 550.
Positive of 550. Positive of 5.
Sir, A
Not
minus
minus 5.
Positive
B equals
550.
to minus
अच्छा
5.
अच्छा.
B is negative 5.
B is minus 5.
Minus 5.
Anybody who is facing any problem in solving this? I hope there is no confusion at all now. Now you can put it. The final answer is not this only. The final answer is P equal to small p
550 minus 5x.
550 minus 5x.
equal to 550 plus minus 5
X.
5 x.
X.
This relationship, this is the linear relationship between price and the quantity. ये linear relation, ये कर्व निकल कर आ रहा है. linear कर्व जो आ रहा है हमारे पास, linear line जो हमारे पास आ रही है, straight line is this one, p equal to 550 minus 5. Now same is you have to do it for supply function. Now we replace this and then we do it for supply. Same हम लेंगे supply में भी P and this and same relationship P and X and then we determine the same type of A and B for this. The only thing is ये चीज change हो जाएगी, quantity change हो जाएगी, price देगा. आप देखिए आप, if you on the other hand, manufacturer is willing to supply 20 units, this will become 20 units. It will become 20 units and at a price of rupees 210 and 30 toolkits at the price of rupees 230. अब ये रिलेशनशिप ये बन गया. तो जब ये रिलेशनशिप बन गया तो we have this as 210 and this will become 20 and this will become 230 and this will become 30. And you have 1 and 2 and you can solve it out and you can find out the supply function. So you will get the supply function.
Sir, I have a question, sir. सर बेसिकली जो ये आपने लिखी है जनरल डिमांड फंक्शन की जो इक्वेशन है, सर क्या हम इसको क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड को जो है हम डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल लेकर के सॉल्व कर सकते हैं सर?
लोकेश मैंने अभी बताया था, शायद आपको डिस्कशन में कर सकते हैं, वो भी ले सकते हैं. कोई
बेसिकली सर आपने जब फर्स्ट क्लास थी उसमें ये बताया था इफ वी आर राइटिंग लाइक y इज द फंक्शन ऑफ x तो y इज इक्वल टू fx. In that sense, y is the function of x. But in case of economics, if we study the demand function, then we say demand is the function of price, income, and like that. So in that sense, quantity demanded is the function of price. Then we can say quantity demanded is dependent variable and price is the independent variable.
We can do it. Yes, you are right. Like if I write it down in the function form like this, जो मैंने calculate किया, if I write it down, so in that case, the price function px
Sir, if we change the dependent and independent variable, so we will get change in our answers too.
x 550 minus 5x. So here what I'm doing, I'm keeping supply demand function for example as the function of the quantity is this one. अगर आप इसको चेंज कर देंगे तो फिर आपकी वो चीज को चेंज हो जाएगी. आप फिर ये आपके पास ऐसे आ जाएगा. The demand function will become the x आपके पास हो जाएगा. X is a function of P. You keep it like this one and this, and then you have a new function. और जो भी आप कोई क्वेश्चन मुझसे पूछ रहा है कि चेंज हो जाएगा, yes, definitely it get changed. Here the value, if you keep it like this one, if you keep this as x, अगर आप इसको x कर देंगे और इसको p कर देंगे, तो definitely your value for A and B will be different already.
ओके सर, ओके सर. क्योंकि सर इस केस में कॉज एंड इफेक्ट हम पता नहीं लगा सकते ना कि किसका इफेक्ट किसके ऊपर हो रहा है. दोनों का एक दूसरे का कॉज एंड इफेक्ट सर हो रहा है. ओके, थैंक यू सर.
ओके, बीच में जरा इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी मेरी हो गई थी. यस लवकेश, आई होप आई एम एबल टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन.
यस सर, यस सर, यस सर.
ओके, थैंक यू. हाँ, some Dushyant has already calculated. A is 170 and B is 2 if you take this one. So let us summarize. Yes. So if I summarize the problem, very important discussion that comes out from this problem is that you can take different forms of the function, but in most of the cases it is mentioned that this is a linear relationship, and in most of the question it is also clear that what is independent and what is dependent. लेकिन हमें इसके लिए भी तैयार रहना होता है कि we have to take a decision that which is independent and which is dependent. जैसे इस केस में था कि इसमें कोई क्लियर कट गाइडलाइन नहीं था which is dependent and which is independent. So we have to use our own background knowledge and subject knowledge to ascertain the independent and dependent relationship and then suggest a relationship and then find it out exactly. So this is we have.
Sir?
Satyendra? Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm asking that if suppose this question will ask in the examination, and now we cannot decide that which function we take dependent
Both the
or which
answers are
function we
both the
take
answers are
independent.
correct. Both the answers are correct.
Both the answers. Okay.
In the examination, the marking is on steps, and if your steps are clear, you will get full marks.
Sir, here you told dependent and independent variables on the basis of the customer, right? So every time we have to choose based on the customer itself.
Yes. Either it is a supply function or the demand function. I mean, the point, Pratiksha, is that we have a uniform approach in both the cases. You cannot have a confusion that demand is a different and supply is a different approach. Take common perspective. If you are taking a perspective from the supplier's point of view, take it in the demand side and take it in the supply side together. You cannot evaluate two functions from two different perspectives. एक सिचुएशन में हमें कोई एक पर्सपेक्टिव लेके चलना होता है टू गेट अ मीनिंगफुल आंसर.
जो भी लेना है मतलब एक ही दोनों केसेस में लेंगे, ऐसा नहीं है कि अलग अलग.
अगर हम डिपार्टमेंट का इवैल्यूएशन कर रहे हैं और हम इवैल्यूएशन में स्टूडेंट्स फीडबैक से स्टूडेंट पर्सपेक्टिव लेकर इवैल्यूएट कर रहे हैं और उसमें हमने टीचर्स पर्सपेक्टिव ले लिया तो बिल्कुल दोनों अलग अलग होंगे.
यस सर.
तो वी कैन नॉट गेट अ क्लियर पिक्चर अबाउट द परफॉर्मेंस. सो परफॉर्मेंस इफ यू वांट टू इवैल्यूएट, टेक इट वन पर्सपेक्टिव एट अ टाइम. So let me move to that's a good discussion. Now let me move to the problem number 2. हाँ जी बताएं प्रॉब्लम नंबर 2 में क्या था. ये था प्रॉब्लम नंबर 3 मतलब इस क्वेश्चन की. यस. तो anybody out of you who have attempted this question? किसी ने कुछ ट्राई करा था?
Sir, I tried. Yes, sir.
Yes,
so
sir.
what do you get from it? First of all, any you formulated this problem, any confusion about the formulating, writing down the function?
No, sir. No.
Okay, so I think this is a simple question.
Yes.
What are the two variables that are here? Price and the weight.
Weight and price.
Weight and the price. So which variable you are taking as dependent variable?
Price.
So price.
Price, definitely. Price is dependent
The
on
price is dependent
on
weight.
बहुत सिंपल सी बात है. हम किसी शॉप पे जा रहे हैं, हम 5 kg ले रहे हैं तो उसका प्राइस कुछ और होगा. हम 10 kg ले रहे हैं तो उसका प्राइस कुछ और होगा. हम 20 kg ले रहे हैं तो उसका प्राइस कुछ और होगा. इसमें तो कोई कंफ्यूजन ही नहीं है. और लीनियर रिलेशनशिप है. सो दिस इज अ लीनियर रिलेशनशिप एंड इट इज ऑलरेडी गिवन प्राइस एंड वेट. सो आई थिंक P equal to A plus
BW.
BW. That's good. P equal to A plus BW. The only thing is that you need to calculate A and B in order to find it out. So क्या आया इसमें निकलकर A और B? क्या रिलेशनशिप आया निकलकर? कोई पहुंच पाया था वहां? है जी?
Sir, I got the answer as 5205x minus 925.5.
A plus B W. ये आ रहा है ना?
Yes sir.
X कर ले W कर ले, एक ही बात है ना? कोई प्रॉब्लम यार. तो मैं कह रहा था यहाँ पे A की वैल्यू कितनी आ रही है? Anybody?
Sir, minus 925.5.
Minus 925.5.
Minus 925.
0.5.
Who is responding? Danish. Danish क्या आ रहा है आंसर?
Sir, minus 925.5.
5.5.
अच्छा, minus 925. चल.
Yes,
Approximately minus 925 लेते हैं approximate. और B
Yes, sir.
कितना आ रहा है?
Sir, 5205.
5205.
5205. ठीक.
Yes, sir.
5205. Good. Yeah, रिलेशनशिप आ रहा है. A माइनस में आया है और B जो है 5205.
Yes sir.
That's a good idea. That's a good point.
Yes, sir.
Anybody who have any confusion in the calculation side? A equal to anything which is not clear to you. अगर आपको formulation clear ना हो तो मैं formulate कर दूं इस question को. I can write down the formulation part if things are not clear to you.
No sir, clear sir.
Okay.
So this is the easy one. You can proceed.
This is the easy question, right? Let me move to question number this from cost, revenue and break even. ये important question था. इसमें ये जो question था, question number 1 I have already discussed in the class, है ना? Yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
question is about CD, I think, which we have already solved, and we obtained the break-even point in the class itself.
Yes,
है ना?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. And what do you think about this question? Question number 2. Have you tried this question? Price
Yes,
demand
sir.
Yes, sir.
function.
Done, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Determine the revenue function and find the revenue.
Yes,
So
sir.
determine the revenue function. I hope you understand that the revenue is simply R equal to P plus X. Revenue is
Price into quantity, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
R into
Yes, sir.
P
Yes,
into
sir.
X, sir.
Yes, sir. P into Q.
Price
Price
into
into quantity.
so R equal to P plus X. सही है?
Sir, it won't be the sum. It would be the
Sir,
multiplication.
it's
Sir,
multiplication.
P
So price
into
into quantity.
PX.
मैं बस चेक करने के लिए मैंने लिखा था ये.
Yes.
मुझे ही पता है. I'm just checking how many of you are attentive, how many of you are not sleeping. So I'm happy that most of you are awake and you are understanding the concept and trying to find it out. आप मेरी उस पर डाउट ना करिएगा, मुझे पता है R equal to P into X था, बस मैंने intentionally इसको प्लस लिखा था just to check it out. How many of you remember it? So revenue is simply P into X, and P function is already given to us, so I can replace this P and I can put 1000. I can put this as 1000.
minus 5.
Minus 5x.
Minus 5.
5x.
5x.
And then I it's better I keep it in the bracket form.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
In the bracket form. Yes. And then into X. Now you know the basic rule of mathematics that we have to open the bracket in order to get it a simplified form. So 1000x minus
5x square.
5x square.
5x square.
5x square. Square का L shape होता है. चलिए 5 square. Okay, 5x square. We have this one. So this is the function. This is the value that we are getting from the revenue function. So this is a simple question. And what is the value of revenue at 50 point? What we need to do here? हमसे पूछा गया कि
375.
The X is equals
We have to put the value of x at 50.
the point is that it's not answer is not important. The approach is important. So we have the revenue
Yes,
function.
sir.
हमारे पास revenue function है. So we have revenue function. I can note it down. The revenue function here x equal to और हमारे पास कितना है 1000x minus
5x square.
5x square.
Square.
हमसे कहा गया है what we need to calculate.
So revenue function and revenue generated if items are 50.
50 items are sold.
50 items are sold.
They are in bracket 50.
X is
So this,
equal to 50.
you can write like this also. You can write like this also. X is equal to 50, and then you determine the value equal to 1000 into 5 minus 5 into X.
50.
So 50.
so 50.
So 50. 50,000.
50.
So this is what we have. So we get the final expression in this form. We get the final answer. What is the final answer that you're getting from it?
So
37500.
37,500.
So
it should be 1000 into 50.
अच्छा ठीक 1000 into 50. हाँ sorry.
And then so 5 into 2500.
So 5 into 50 or 50 whole square, sir. 5
ठीक.
into 50 into 50.
Okay.
So 2500. 5 into 2500.
500.
500.
इतनी छोटी छोटी गलतियों के लिए आप मुझे ज़रा माफ़ कर दीजिएगा. ये तो कैलकुलेशंस हैं तो आप कर रहे हैं. ओके. मैं बार बार मैं इसको इंटेंशनली ऐसे लिख रहा हूँ ताकि आई विल गेट योर रिस्पॉन्स. I will get your feedback, what I'm writing and what you are suggesting to me. So that's okay. This is what we have.
Yes, sir.
The expression
Yes, sir.
7,500. So I think this sheet is a good opportunity for you to understand the concept in a right way. Whatever theoretically I have discussed with you, you are able to grasp it properly. And I'm
Yes,
sure
sir.
that those who are attending the classes, they are able to solve it properly. ये discussion था about the function, especially the type of function which we call it as cost function, revenue function, and profit function, and then the break-even analysis. After this, we will move on to the remaining part of the chapter, and that remaining part of the chapter we will move to a very important area. What is that area? That I would like to discuss it with you. I will start it today, although we will cover it up in a more detailed way tomorrow, because tomorrow we have 2 classes, one by one. So definitely we have more opportunity. But to start with, what actually we are going to start tomorrow, that's a matter of discussion for us. So I will open up my sheet for that. I will close this file first of all. That's it, right? From the question feed. So allow me to start my own sheet of the function which I have. Yeah, this one. Now, dear student, I would like to touch upon another very important. Is this Word file is visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir.
I am touching upon another very important
Yes, sir.
discussion with all. Right? What is that discussion? Very simple. Let me start with this. From so many problems that we have solved, it is clear to all of you that I put the value of x and I'm getting the value of y. So if I'm changing, for example, if I'm putting the value of x with, because they have a linear relationship, I put the value of x is 2, the value of y will get changed, and the value of y will become 3, for example. If I put the value of x as minus 1, I will get the value of y, suppose, as 5. So as I move on changing the value of x, I'm getting newer and newer values of y. This is a very important phenomena which is very, very useful in lot of business organizations and understanding the phenomena of the business scenario. What is this? What I'm referring to? I'm referring to change in one variable with respect to another. So y is getting changing with respect to x. So what I can write, if I write down in this simple language, I can write y is changing. Y is changing with respect to x. This terminology that y is changing with respect to x is a very important statement, because we want to evaluate कि एक वेरिएबल दूसरे वेरिएबल के साथ कैसे वेरी कर रहा है, कैसे चेंज कर रहा है. जैसे कि हम ये जानना चाहते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल हम जानना चाहते हैं कि प्रॉफिट है, पी प्रॉफिट या प्रॉफिट. तो प्रॉफिट क्वालिटी के साथ कैसे चेंज कर रहा है, दिस इज क्वालिटी. प्रॉफिट क्वालिटी के साथ कैसे चेंज कर रहा है. हम ये जानना चाहते हैं कि प्रॉफिट एडवर्टाइजमेंट के साथ कैसे चेंज कर रहा है. हम ये जानना चाहते हैं प्रॉफिट ब्रांड इमेज के साथ कैसे चेंज कर रहा है. सो ऑल दिस थिंग्स वी वुड लाइक टू एक्सप्लोर as a product manager, as a marketing manager, or as a production manager. This is always we need to understand. Similarly, in financial area, we are always interested in knowing how the stock prices changes with time, how the stock prices changes with different events. So y is changing with respect to x. That's a very important thing that we are going to discuss with you. And this statement I can further note it down with the help of the mathematical expression. अगर मुझे इसको mathematical expression में लिखना होगा तो मैं इसको ऐसे लिख दूंगा y2 minus y1, this is one aspect of it, and I will with respect to means that I would keep it in the bracket. ये एक चेंज आया variable y के अंदर, एक चेंज आ रहा है with respect x2 minus x1. So we have x2 minus x1. I keep this as a bracket. तो ये जो हम निकालते हैं y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1, this is nothing but this is a relative change in y with respect to x, or in other word y x के साथ कैसे वेरी कर रहा है. अगर मैं खाली ये बताऊं y चेंज कर रहा है तो ये इनकम्प्लीट स्टेटमेंट है. If I am simply saying y is changing, so this is an incomplete statement. I would like to complete this statement by putting with respect to what. Y is with respect to time, y is with respect to quantity, y is with respect to any other variable. So with respect to what, that is what we are changing. And this concept of y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1 is actually beautifully presented by a very famous mathematician and scientist and physicist, Newton. And they presented this concept of y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1 with the help of dy by dx. ये पूरा आपको एक्सप्रेशन बताने का पर्पस था वो ये था कि he introduced a new concept in the discussion, that is dy by dx, that is a differential change in y with respect to differential change in x. This change with the magnitude is later on converted in a whole branch of study which we call it as differentiation. उन्होंने एक पूरी branch of study बनाया जिसे हम कहते हैं differentiation. So we have differentiation with this expression dy by dx, which is primarily y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. अब हम अलग अलग जगह इस change और इस ratio को calculate करेंगे, and that is what we have to discuss with you, which we call it as differentiation. So I will take up this discussion in my next class tomorrow, right, to brief you about this important discussion, this important area which we call it as differentiation. जानते हैं differentiation को न्यूटन ने इन्वेंट किया था, और कैसे इन्वेंट किया था न्यूटन ने इसको? न्यूटन ने, आप लोगों ने, सब लोगों ने फिजिक्स में लॉज ऑफ ग्रेविटेशन, लॉज ऑफ मोशन पढ़े हैं, तो एक फोर्थ लॉ ऑफ मोशन है, ग्रेविटेशन लॉ, फोर्थ लॉ ऑफ ग्रेविटेशन. What is that fourth law of gravitation? Two bodies in the space are attracting each other with a force which is directly proportional to their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance.
Square of distance between them.
ये जो लॉ जो हमने और आपने 8 से 10 सेकंड में पढ़ा है, न्यूटन को इस लॉ को प्रूव करने के लिए 20 इयर्स का टाइम लगा था, और इस 20 इयर्स के टाइम में उन्होंने एक अलग बिल्कुल ब्रांच बना दी मैथमेटिक्स की, जिसे कहते हैं डिफरेंशियल एंड इंटीग्रल कैलकुलस. जो कैलकुलस है, ये उस 20 इयर्स उन्होंने जिस लॉ को प्रूव करने के लिए लगाए, उसमें उन्होंने पूरी मैथ्स की एक नई ब्रांच बनाई जिसे हम डिफरेंशियल इंटीग्रेशन कहते हैं, और उसका फिर जो यूज हुआ है, तो आप देख रहे हैं कि आपके आसपास जितनी चीज़ों हैं सब इसी, आप जानते हैं सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट यूज डिफरेंशियल इंटीग्रेशन का मैथमेटिक्स में कहाँ पर आप है, बताइए जरा मुझे.
सर मैक्सिमम.
वो तो बहुत आगे की चीज़ है. नहीं, वो तो बहुत आगे की चीज़ है, वो तो हम और आप आज समझ रहे हैं. बिल्कुल फंडामेंटल चीज बताइए आप मुझे, क्या है?
रेट चेंज.
नहीं, हमने स्कूल डेज में पढ़ा है
रेट
एरिया ऑफ
चेंज.
ट्रायंगल. नो, हमने स्कूल में पढ़ा एरिया ऑफ ट्रायंगल हाफ बेस इनटू हाइट, एरिया ऑफ ट्रायंगल पाई आर स्क्वायर, एरिया ऑफ रेक्टेंगल लेंथ इनटू ब्रेथ, जिसमें पूरा सारा कैलकुलेशन बेस्ड है. वो जो फॉर्मूलेज आए हैं वो कैसे निकले? ऑल द फॉर्मूलाज आर ड्राइव फ्रॉम इंटीग्रेशन, एंड देन चेंजेस की जितनी भी फॉर्मूलाज हैं वो सब दे आर ड्राइव फ्रॉम डिफरेंशिएशन. तो अगर इंटीग्रेशन इनका इन्वेंशन ना हुआ होता तो हमें कैसे पता चलता कि पाई आर स्क्वायर इज द एरिया ऑफ सर्कल? हमें कैसे पता चलता हाफ बेस इनटू हाइट इज द एरिया ऑफ ट्रायंगल, जो एक बच्चों को 6th-7th क्लास में बताया जाता है. तो वो जो फॉर्मूलाज आपने बेसिक फॉर्मूलाज पढ़े हैं और जितने फॉर्मूलाज आप देखते हैं, वो सब में सबसे ज्यादा रोल अगर किसी का रहा है तो दैट इज द यूज ऑफ द कैलकुलस व्हिच वी हैव राइट नाउ. Now it's a high time for us that we will talk about what is the use of this differentiation and integration in solving the problem of बिजनेस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, जिसमें कुछ अभी मुझे कोई बता रहा था मैक्सिमाइजेशन, मिनिमाइजेशन और बहुत सारी चीजें. सो विद दिस आई वुड लाइक टू कंक्लूड टुडेस सेशन. विल मीट टुमारो हैविंग मोर डिस्कशन ऑन दिस.
थैंक यू सर.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.